Joe Morgan, 2063 Ren. This is really a disgusting project. The fact that you guys are going to allow this guy, and I'm sure you're going to do it because you never turn anything down. It's been, what, 23 years since you've turned down a project. That without any effort to purchase the other projects. I'm not myself and a few other people we're not even particularly opposed to the change. Say you're going to transition it, but this is as half-assed as it gets. This is in the dictionary right there next to half-assed. There's a picture of this development. It's going to wrap it around people's houses because the guy's too cheap to buy the 2 lots. That's the bottom line. He doesn't have the money. He's too broke. And because of that, the city's going to be saddled with a half-baked, semi-done, unfixable development. These people, you're taking away value from these people's houses without them having any say. You're just yanking it away from them. You're going to build it around. You're going to box them in. They're going to have gates opening and closing at all hours of the day or night. You're going to have an underparked development. It's underparked. It's underparked. We have problems with parking when they have full parking. And to call this a senior, this is just window dressing calling it a senior. This is a market rate apartment. It may be age restricted barely, but by the time it's built, I can live there. And I just want to say that, everybody's only going to have one car, maybe a guest occasionally. I don't think that's the case. This isn't a bunch of old biddies walking around on walkers. This is an apartment complex just like anybody else. You can ask Dale how many times he drives in and out of his house every day. So, everybody up on the dais will be able to live in this complex. This isn't a senior complex. This isn't like Casa Grande, and I bet you they're more parked than this. So, I'm reminded of this. This is, really my involvement and my peak or my frustration with this council started because I live right off Kellogg. So I got a postcard in the mail one time that said something about, come on down to the Planning Commission and talk about land use on Kellogg. I think, well, what do I know? What do I know about what happens at a Planning Commission? I have no idea. I had no idea what was being built. They said, we're considering some land uses near your house. Okay? So I didn't go to the meeting. Next thing I know, there's 30-something foot walls blocking our view of the mountains, and you guys built Kaiser right on the street. So I talked to Mr. Montanez about it at the time. You may have heard this story before. I talked to Mr. Montanez about it, and he kind of poo-pooed that nobody showed up to say anything about the meeting. Well, nobody showed up. We sent out cards, and nobody showed up. Yeah, you're right, nobody shows up, because nobody really knows how this works. As much as I go to all these meetings, I really don't have a clue how this goes. I'm finding out on some of these things, you guys don't even know how this works. So you take Ms. Coletta's word for everything. It's all good. She says it's good. You say it's good. And Mr. Montanez even made it's almost eerie how similar this is. I think you told me that the house values on Kellogg could just as easily increase because elderly people buy houses next to hospitals when they're sick. I didn't know whether to throw up or laugh when I heard that. I think I did a little bit of both. And that's what the gentleman on the south lot was told. Hey, you know what? When this goes in, your property values are going to go up. Because they hired some guy to go out and get signatures and get endorsements. He wasn't required to give them full disclosure. He wasn't required to tell them the truth. He was required to get approvals. He was required to get letters. They just hired a homie from the neighborhood. So he spoke Spanish, but that didn't mean he necessarily told them the truth. But then he handed them forms in English. So, this whole thing has been dirty right from the beginning. If you're going to do this, make them do it right. Make them buy out those houses and build a proper project. Because there's no plan for this or a phase 1 or a phase 2. There's no plan to make a complete project. He was asked about that at the Planning Commission. Hey, what about completing this? What about incorporating these other lots? He said, well, I don't even have a plan for how I'm going to build the buildings as it is. I don't even know how I'm going to do this. It looks to me like he's going to get he's going to go get the zone change and then sell it off to somebody else because it's already prepackaged. So you're going to go ahead and enable this garbage development. And in the intervening years, you know, from here on out, people are going to be looking at this going, well, how the hell did this happen? Why did this happen this way? You know, how did this little island of 2 houses get wrapped in by this apartment complex? What was the story? Oh, it must have been a holdout. That's what my initial thought was. Well, they made him an offer and they didn't take it. You know, it's unfortunate. Then I find out they never made him an offer. They never tried to buy the houses. How would you like it? How would any of you like it up there? How would Miss Coletta like it if somebody did that to her? You wouldn't. I don't like what we got crapped on, and then my neighbors on Kellogg got crapped on by you building that building right on the street. You could have done it right. You could have softened it. You could have made it where it looked nice. You could have built kind of a parking lot, kind of an open space. You could have done that. You didn't. And now you're going to do the same thing to the Buena Vista neighborhood. You have no respect for the residents. None at all. You know, that was evident back on the Kaiser thing. It's evident now. It's evident every time you guys come down here. You have a general disdain for the people who live here. And you're working another plan. You're deciding that you're going to build some kind of city for some kind of reason, but you're not building it for us. It's not about us. It's about what you guys want to do. You're not listening to the neighbors. You know, you give the guy in the south, and when he found out, oh, my property value is not going to increase, you know, so you should have some respect. Thank you.